Okay, so our first news story of the week, and it is kind of news as opposed to gaming technology, but uh, out of nowhere, Rockstar has announced that on August 27th, in fact, I'm just going to read the press release as it was sent to me. Grand Theft Auto 6, an extended look, will premiere on Netflix Thursday, August 27 at 3 p.m. ET, and will also launch on the official Rockstar Games YouTube channel and the Grand Theft Auto site, Grand Theft Auto 6 site, at 9 p.m. ET on August 27th. All that's missing is kind of like, thank you for your attention to this matter. That's literally it. Everybody's talking about it. An extended look at Grand Theft Auto 6. Oliver, I'm going to come to you first on this one. Obviously, there's a kind of like a laundry list, a wish list of stuff that we'd like to be in this quote unquote extended look. It's an extended look. Exclusive news here. It's an extended look with capital letters. Which is which kind of emphasizes the importance of this. I mean, it's kind of bizarre, isn't it? What is it? A 6-hour exclusivity window on Netflix. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen something like that before in gaming. Obviously, Rockstar has a pre-existing relationship with Netflix because they distributed the GTA Definitive Edition ports to mobile. I think also the Red Dead Redemption port to mobile phones a little bit ago, right? Not so long ago. So that's certainly a relationship that's been budding, and apparently there's 6-hour exclusivity window, which I think is bizarre. I think in that 6 hours probably it will become very heavily pirated during that period. I do think this is very welcome, though, on some level to finally see some extended gameplay, presumably from GTA 6. Again, we don't know anything about it beyond the title, so you just have to presume they're going to show off extended gameplay. I kind of think that maybe that format that has become very popular, the kind of video documentary format we've seen from the likes of Microsoft, for instance, rather recently, I think that might be the format to go with for this one. That would make a lot of sense for me. But at this point, there's no clear evidence as to how long it's going to be. Apparently, a Netflix customer service agent, possibly AI agent, told someone it would be 20 minutes long. And other people are reading into I clicked play on the video and it showed a time for 30 minutes before it went off. So perhaps it's a 30-minute presentation. Who knows at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's probably a bit of a crapshoot. But you presume that phrase, an extended look, would imply a bit of a longer runtime than the minute 30 or 2-minute trailers you've seen thus far, which have basically featured cinematic footage. I wouldn't say cutscene footage, because obviously that second trailer was said to have half gameplay and half cutscenes, but the gameplay footage was all presented from a cinematic camera, so it didn't make much of a difference. Can't really tell how a game is going to play from cinematic gameplay footage, right? That's just not how it works. But yeah, they're not disclosing very much at all here. So I am very curious to see how this goes. But one thing I am curious about, and one thing I hope they don't do, is I hope that they air this at 60 frames per second, because we know that cinematic standards are to go for maybe 30 frames per second for footage of this nature, or 24 frames per second. But to really get accurate console level 60 hertz footage out of this game, even if it's a 30 FPS title, that would be a real treat here, because you've not seen that from prior Rockstar showings either. I believe their previous trailers were encoded at 30 FPS, which made them present a little bit oddly. Actually, they seem to have a bit of some odd, possibly animation stuttering or frame rate stuttering behavior in them, which also aligns with other Rockstar game cutscenes in recent titles, like in GTA 5. Kind of famously, the cutscenes there don't present at a perfectly even cadence necessarily, even on high-end PCs or consoles. So I'd be curious to see this game running in a 60 hertz container. That would be something I'd really like to see. If not from the Netflix showing, then perhaps from the showing that Rockstar uploads to their own website. Perhaps they could encode that at 60 hertz. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of an announcement of an announcement. So there's not really much to go on here. I do hope we see enough from this showing, though, that we're fully sated going into the November release.
Well, that's not going to happen, is it? Realistically, being fully sated. It's, there's always going to be the hunger for more. I mean, I can kind of see where you're coming from in terms of the presentation for it. I guess you can look at Drive to Survive on Netflix. That seems to be like a mixture of frame rates. They do
That's
seem
true,
to have 60 frames per second stuff in there. So it's not as if the platform is not capable of doing it. It can be done. I share basically everything you said there. there's no indication we're actually going to get to see gameplay, but surely at this point they've kind of got to show what the game looks like in terms of what the user experience is going to be. Having said that, basically they've got a captive audience of hundreds of millions of people, so they can show what the hell they want. Really, that's the case, isn't it? There's still like several months to go until the game's out. So yeah, John, is there anything specific that you're looking for from this presentation? I mean, apart from the game.
Well, I mean, firstly, I think the thing that fascinates me so much is the fact that people are getting so excited and talking and arguing over essentially a commercial. So
Yes.
it's like it's so fun and to me to see people like, oh my god, this commercial, it's gonna debut. Like it's. I mean, I get it. It's not different than like trailers and whatever, but and that's kind of what we do with game shows, but I never really think about it from that perspective. But if you step back, now that it's on something like Netflix, it really made me stop and think like, oh shoot, like we're like regularly getting hyped for what are basically just commercials.
Yeah.
So, but showing it on Netflix is certainly different. I guess the main thing I'm curious about is, while I've always said, Netflix compared to say like a proper UHD Blu-ray is worse, I do think Netflix does in general produce better image quality than what I see on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Although they obviously have more control, so that can also just be a matter of the content creators putting up lower quality stuff on on YouTube. So the quality here could be quite good, and as you noted, it does support 50 and 60 frames per second video playback. There are programs on there, especially sports related things, that do offer that. So it's hard to say, but I think ultimately that's going to be up to Rockstar. Rockstar is going to be the one that gives Netflix this file, this data, and then Netflix is going to basically just show what they've been given. So if they're given a 4K 30 FPS video, that's what's going to appear, I would assume. So, and what a great deal for Rockstar, though. Like, you can bet that Netflix paid a boatload of money for this.
What for a 6-hour exclusivity window?
Right, exactly. And it's really interesting. It's so unprecedented. I'm genuinely just fascinated by the whole business around this. And GTA 6 might be the biggest game ever in terms of like the hype cycle.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Mm-hmm. And it does feel that way. It's a really interesting point. It's just, I feel like this is the kind of release where you just have to take it for what it is, and just, it is its own thing. It has its own orbit. GTA 6 is almost its own platform, so to speak.
Right.
Any data that you extract from the success of GTA 6, I think, cannot really be applied to anything else. This is what it is. This is the Avengers Endgame kind of thing of the game world, since given how big that was financially. It's just a crazy situation. So, but I do hope that, I would like to see one of those videos where they essentially walk the viewer through the types of things you can do in the game world. Yeah. And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot, like kind of hearkening back to like San Andreas in a way, but like not actually that, but the idea is like you had GTA 3, then Vice City, and then San Andreas. They built upon that and just like exploded in terms of stuff you could do. GTA 6 is kind of like the second San Andreas in a way. It's like the third of the HD era of Grand Theft Autos, if you will, since they massively altered like the core of the way the games were made. So, yeah, I don't like to always fall into hype cycles like this, but I have to admit I'm very curious, and I do actually admittedly love GTA 5. I think it's a great game. Mm-hmm. I actually replayed the whole thing not too long ago on the PC. With the maximum possible graphics, and it's still an interesting single player experience.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, something that comes up on my Twitter timeline a lot, and I really like it. I welcome it when it appears in the For You tab, which is quite an achievement, bearing in mind some of the stuff that appears there. It's the stuff where basically years on from release, Red Dead Redemption 2, there's kind of like systemic things in the game engine that just speak to the amount of work that went into creating that game world. Oh, it's over-engineered to a significant degree, to the point where you just see things that people are finding within the game years later. Interesting physics interactions, that sort of thing. Observations of the game world. So, apply that to the city that we're going to be seeing in Grand Theft Auto 6, but next generation visuals, probably next generation simulation, that kind of thing. I really hope that we actually get to see some of that thinking, the amount of work that goes into creating that world. Because, you're kind of just getting hints of it so far in the trailers, and we've kind of come up with our own thoughts on that based on what we've seen so far. But yeah, we really want to see more. We want to see what they've been up to. What's the vision here ultimately for Grand Theft Auto 6? So I'm fascinated to see what they're going to come up with for this. However, something that is concerning, I think it's something you touched on a bit there, John, is basically everything we've seen with Grand Theft Auto 6 so far has been viewed through the lens of what Rockstar wants to give us, and some sort of preview cycle where other people might actually get to look at the game and play it. That would be quite good, wouldn't it? It's a crazy thought, but maybe that's something they might consider. And I guess in the past we've seen things like they were kind of like the GQ articles on prior Rockstar games that were quite interesting, but at least some sort of access and some sort of different viewpoint, some sort of, dare I say it, editorial would be great. And I'm curious to know what they're going to be doing in the run-up to launch on this. Are we actually going to get review code? There have been some various rumors about this, about press events and stuff, which I don't think is the best way to do it, but I can imagine that they may well do it, bearing in mind the kind of lengths that they seem to be going to contain leaks. I don't think that's particularly great, but I guess we'll need to see what's going to happen and hopefully get some official word from Rockstar, because they're in this sort of position now where, you can contact them and you've got no idea if you're going to get a response or not to your questions, because, they're so guarded about this game. And I guess basically, the future of the business probably relies on it. So it's probably not surprising that they are extremely protective of it. But at the same time, some sort of discovery of what's actually happening in the game, a different perspective, actual editorial, I think would be something they should be considering. Even if they want to sort of, do curated previews, that sort of thing. That's not unknown. I am concerned about the review aspect of it, though. It's certainly an interesting way to market what is looking like the biggest game ever. Certainly in terms of comparable movies. I'm thinking that the trailer side of things, I'm just going back to the episode 1 trailer for Star Wars way back in the day. I mean, that was such a huge event. And I guess maybe Grand Theft Auto 6 is in a sort of similar league to that.
You're saying this is going to be like GTA's episode 1?
Well, in terms of the trailer hype, but hopefully not the final result.
Yeah. Now, one thing interesting that you mentioned, Rich, was those details that people love to bring up in Red Dead 2. And I'm curious to see if that ends up being the case with GTA 6, because I've noticed a huge trend lately where people are very angry at those types of details online. And I think it's born out of the increase in cost of computing and the general unaffordability of things, the amount of development time things are taking. So people went from being amazed and impressed with those sorts of details to being angry and blaming them, even though they often don't understand them and get mad at the wrong thing. But there's a lot of pushback to it, I would say. Right. And I'm wondering if that will be extended to Rockstar, if people say that's why it took this long to make, or if Rockstar essentially will get away with it and people will just love those details. I suspect the latter, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think Rockstar particularly cares, because
that's true. They don't care.
Untold millions of copies, and I think that's probably something that they should be applauded for. They've delayed this game several times because it's not ready, right? And the fact that they have delayed it and not sort of cashed in on a incomplete game, I think that's something to be applauded. I guess the litmus test will be the state of the game when it actually ships.
Right. I just can't imagine working on a game like this, man. The scope and the expectations, the pressure of working on GTA 6 has to be so immense. I really
Yeah.
feel for the guys doing this, because this is just so much, and so much is riding on it, and they know it.
The other thing about the sort of systemic videos that we've seen online for Red Dead is that it's become kind of like the comparison point for other games on much smaller budgets, and the fact that they're not able to produce the same level of fidelity in the game world, and people are sort of berating modern games produced on different budget levels without all of the money available in the world, which Rockstar basically has for its games. And I think it's sort of unfair comparisons. There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
But, I guess it is what it is.
And conversely, when a title does manage to exceed Red Dead Redemption 2 in one key aspect, like arguably Crimson Desert did with its, I would say, the river physics, the physics of the flowing water through rivers and enclosed spaces in that game looked really sublime. There's a lot of celebration and excitement in some quarters for what that represents. And I kind of feel like GTA 6 might be, I don't want to say the last hurrah, but certainly a big hurrah for AAA gaming, because it is, as marketed by Rockstar up until this point, it is a single player only title. They're not talking about multiplayer at all. Does not appear to be a live service title. It has some pre-order bonuses, but I mean, it seems to be a fully contained single player package from day one. It is not a massive platform. It might become a platform in the future with the addition of multiplayer mode, but for now, it's just a big, gigantic, extremely expensive single player AAA title that people are going to buy once, play through, enjoy. That's the kind of model that is kind of on its way out maybe in the broader video game landscape, but Rockstar kind of still manages to make it work, and presumably will still manage to make it work for an enormous profit. So I think that's also just very exciting to see the most AAA of the AAA, quadruple A, quintuple A, whatever you want to call it, right? It's really exciting on that level.
John, how many A's does GTA 6 have? Maybe we'll find out on August 27th.
Quintuple A for this one. It's got to be. I mean, it's tough to go beyond, the Ubisoft masterpiece,
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, but I think they might be able to pull it off.
Well, the anticipation around this is absolutely galactic at this point. And, certainly from our perspective, we sort of love new gaming technology, and every Rockstar release is basically a milestone. So, yeah, kind of amused by the circus surrounding this and this 6 hour. Surely if money changed hands, they could have got more than a 6 hour exclusivity window, because that's not a lot of time, is it?
I mean, this stuff doesn't come cheap, man. Rockstar can ask what they want, and Netflix is probably like, oh, we got $1 billion here. That's good for maybe 6 hours.
I was
not that much.
Thinking back to all the rumors that were surrounding when Cyberpunk 2077 got a trailer at the Xbox showcase at one of the E3s. I can't remember which one, and there was sort of talks of CD Projekt Red being given $10 million or something, and it turned out it was like $0 based on our sort of behind the scenes investigation. It's just they wanted people to see the game. I mean, yeah. It's just sort of just goes to show the amount of hype that goes on there. Anyway, we're certainly caught up in the hype, and we'll be checking out this this event on August 27th. We're going to be at Gamescom, though, John, which we're probably going to have a look at our calendar to see how this slots in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we could wait several hours, unlike a lot of people seemingly who will be subscribing to Netflix to see it.
I can wait roughly 6 hours. No problem.